Hello guys, welcome back to a very stormy Microsoft Flight Simulator for today's video, where we find ourselves in some pretty challenging conditions on our approach into London Stansted, and I'm thinking what better time to test the Autoland capability of the Pmdg 777-300ER. So that's the plan. We're currently flying a hold at 8,000 feet, about 15 miles from runway 22 into Stansted. So let's take a deep breath, keep everything crossed and hop inside the flight deck. Right then, let's take a look at our nav display, and we can see we're just entering our hold at Abbott, and we can take a look at that on our charts. And we're inbound on a course of 254 degrees, and we're going to fly one right hand circuit of our hold and then down onto runway 22 into Stansted. And if we just swap to our approach chart, we can take a look at that and just zoom in a touch. You can see we're just at the top right of the screen there, and we're going to fly inbound 222 degrees, intercept our glide slope, and the plane's automatically going to bring us all the way down onto runway 22. You can see there we need to be at 2,500 feet to intercept the glide slope, and we have a runway elevation of 348 feet. And to perform the Autoland we need a Cat 3A ILS, and our minimum decision height is going to be 50 feet, which you can see at the bottom of the chart there, so we'll add that in on the Barrow. The notoriously fiddly Barrow dial, but we'll get there in the end. So we're at 38, 40, 44, 48, 50. So that's our minimum set, and we're going to configure everything as we normally would for an ILS approach. So we've got our ILS frequency tuned top left, we've got our approach ref flaps 30, 148 knots bottom left, just done the minimums, and we've preset our QNH to 1015. Okay, so that's all looking pretty good. Let's take a look at our descent checklist. It's still fairly tasty outside. So, quick recall. So we've got recall checked, notes checked, auto brakes set to 3 for our landing, and our landing data VREF minimums we've done, so we'll check that, and our approach briefing is complete, and that is our descent checklist complete. And if we double click the checklist button, it brings up our approach checklist. Okay, so I'm going to start using the hold to lose some altitude now, I think, just to stay ahead of the plane. So we're currently at 8,000 feet, so I'm going to wind in our lowest altitude, which was going to be 2,500 feet, if you remember, to intercept our glide slope. And if we have a quick look at the charts, there we go, 2,500. And we'll just wait a couple of seconds before hitting the flitch button, flight level change, there we go, and that'll start just descending as we make our turn in right. And there we go, if we take a look at the PFD, we can see our plane is just starting to descend now at a fairly leisurely 500 feet per minute. The storm is still absolutely going for it. Okay, so that's everything pretty much configured for our auto landing. I'm happy with how the plane's descending, so let's exit our hold then. So down to the FMC then, we're going to hit the hold button, and then at the bottom right we're going to press exit hold, and then we get the exit armed message and we can execute that. And basically as we pass over our Abbott waypoint, the plane will exit the hold and continue following our LNAV path down into runway 22. And we've got a fairly tasty crosswind for our landing, so again that'll be interesting to see how the Autoland handles that. Probably a lot better than me, to be honest. And I can see now we're also through our transition altitude, so we can go to standard pressure. So we'll hit standard pressure, and there we go, QNH 1015 is selected. Just completing our turn in right now. I'm also beginning to think that I should have included some kind of health and safety warning at the start. This video contains strobing effects, because that storm is absolutely raging. Right, let's have a little hop into the back, see how the kids are getting along. Quick look out the window. Yeah, it's not exactly what you want to see when you're coming into land, is it? But don't worry guys, it's all going to be fine. And we're just approaching our Abbott waypoint now, which is where we're going to leave our hold. And I'm just a little bit conscious that we're going to be a touch low on our profile. So I'm going to take control of vertical speed mode, and we're just going to decrease our rate of descent a touch. Let's go to 400 feet per minute, and that will push the green banana back to the next waypoint and just smooth out the descent a touch. And there we go, that's looking much better. We're going to reach our 2,500 feet just as we're turning onto our final approach, and then we can intercept our glide slope, so that's absolutely fine. And let's just decrease our rate of descent a bit more to 300 feet per minute, and we'll go 200 feet per minute, and we can complete our approach checklist because our altimeters are set, so we'll check those, and that is our approach checklist complete.
2,500.
That's 2,500 to go, so we will start our landing checklist, and we will arm our speed brake, and we will extend our first stage of flaps, so flaps 1. And the weather outside now is absolutely insane. It looks like we're flying into the gates of hell or something. Well, Stansted. Lol. And we'll bug our flap 1 speed to about 209 knots. And we'll continue our flap extension. We're going to go flaps 5, and we'll match our flap 5 speed as well. And as the storm continues to rage outside, we are about to turn onto our final approach, so we will engage our approach mode. And there we go, as we turn in left, we should all be nicely configured to intercept our glide slope at 2,500. And we will go flaps 15 and also bug our speed again. And we'll go all the way down to around 170 knots. 169, close enough. Okay, so just before we go geared down, let's brief our missed approach then. So climb straight ahead, not above 3,000 feet, at 3.1 miles from Barkway VOR, turn right onto Romeo 171, inbound at 8 miles to Barkway, and continue to climb to VOR at 3,000 feet. And that is our missed approach briefed. And back to our landing checklist, let's go geared down. And in fact, let's hop outside and take a look at our gear extending. Look at that. That looks absolutely incredible. Incredible and terrifying in equal measures, I'd say. And that is our glide slope captured. We can just see the magenta diamonds there. And we'll go flaps 20, and we will also dial in our missed approach altitude of 3,000 feet set, and everything is looking good as we approach our 5-mile fix. And I'll just reduce our speed to 160 knots until 4 DME. And flaps 25. And we're just approaching full DME now, so let's enter our VREF, which is 148 knots plus the 5, which gives us 153. And our final stage of flaps 30. And looking at the PFD, we have got land 3 and flare and rollout, which means we are all set for our Autoland. Whoa! Okay, that is our landing checklist complete. We are through 1,500 feet and 3 DME to go. Let's have a quick check of our overhead panel. That all looks fine.
1,000.
Now that's 1,000 to go, and still no runway. Okay, I am getting nervous now. What the bloody hell was that? This is ridiculous. We're literally approaching 500 feet and I can't see a blooming thing. Right, so just to go over the procedure then, if we do actually ever see a runway,
500.
there's 500. I don't have to touch a thing, the plane's going to take care of everything. The only thing we need to do is engage our reversers once we've touched down. The plane, we can leave an autopilot, it'll steer us right down the runway, and then I'll disengage the autopilot and take over manual steering. And I can actually see some runway lights, thank the Lord. So we are all passengers for this one. We've got a tasty 23 knot crosswind, so let's see how the plane handles that.
100.
So sit back, relax,
50,
and enjoy the landing.
40, 30, 20,
Here we go.
10.
And there's the thrust levers automatically closing. And touchdown. And for some reason my reversers aren't engaging, so let's disengage the auto throttle and get our reversers on. There we go. Still not doing a thing. The plane's steering us quite nicely down the runway. A touch off the centre line, but not bad. And we will vacate at this exit here. So we'll disengage the autopilot and bring it to a stop. And welcome to a gloomy Stansted, guys. And I have to say, under very challenging conditions, the plane has handled that absolutely brilliantly. I am very impressed. And with that, I will conclude today's video on how we perform an Autoland in the Pmdg 777-300ER. I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe you learned something new. If you did, give it a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. And try not to have nightmares. Bye bye.